This just in, male stripper found dead after a crazy night with a dominatrix gone wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's right. I think anything from that would be deviating from the norm.
Yo! Finally! Fucking finally! It's time, boys.
Well, it finally happened. Forget the normal intro bullshit. I don't even care that I was wrong with my last prediction. It was a good episode, good research, analysis, animation, and that song honestly rivals Emerald Heroes for me. I, however, screwed up with my assessment of Esdeath and Gray. For example, Gray is resistant to ice, yes, but he is not full-on immune to it. Gray has lost to superior cryomancers before. I couldn't have been more wrong with my prediction. And that does suck. But this next time makes up for it in every way. And I'm going to do my damnedest to get this one right. Moving on to the next time, Machamp vs. Goro was the one episode I wanted more than any other. It was my matchup for years. I was honestly considering doing it for Fan-Made Death Battle Season 3, but I guess that is off the table now. Well, since I just brought it up, I might as well discuss it. Yes, Fan-Made Death Battles will be returning. I haven't decided on what kind of format I want to bring the show into for Season 3, but it is coming back. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it at the moment, so stay tuned. Might be another month, who knows, depends on how the coronavirus situation works out. But regardless, the show will return. Probably won't have as many episodes this year, all things considered, but you never know, we'll see. Regardless, I'm beyond hyped to finally see this matchup get the love it deserves. Plus, it's the first 3D fight of the season, baby! The crazy thing about it is the last 3 seasons have all had one episode that I really wanted, that I was begging to see. Crash vs. Spyro, Green Lantern vs. Ben 10, and finally, Machamp vs. Goro. And Machamp vs. Goro, it goes back with me hard. I've wanted this episode ever since season 2, baby! It was my matchup. I requested this one for years, and it's finally happening. And it's an anniversary episode. There's no other episode that could be number 125 for me. This episode is everything I've ever wanted out of this show. Plus, another Pokemon. And you guys know that I love Pokemon. I mean, if Fan-Made Death Battles doesn't show that, I don't know what does. I love Pokemon, I love them in Death Battle, and it's honestly amazing to see another one get shown. Kinda sucks he's Gen 1, but I mean, it's Gen 1, it's to be expected. And besides, I love Machamp, so it's fine. But that's enough of me fanboying. Let's get into this. Starting off with the character's stats, Machamp, for what I've been able to find, should be far stronger. Goro does scale to other Mortal Kombat characters like Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, and Sonya. 3 people who have broke diamonds in half. However, that does not compare to Machamp being officially documented as capable of lifting a mountain with one hand. The average mountain, from the numbers I can find, would weigh at the very least a few hundred to 1,000 tons. Now, the big mountains can weigh well over a few 100,000 to million. Heck, maybe even trillion. Now that being said, Machamp isn't exactly lifting Mount Everest, but he can clearly lift with the best of them. On to speed, it's relatively even. Machamp scales to Pokemon like Lucario, and Goro scales to other Mortal Kombat characters. Now if I was forced to pick a side, I would probably say Goro is faster than Machamp in terms of raw movement speed, though I would say Machamp can likely punch Goro faster than he can. We'll get to why in a moment. On to durability, I'd say Goro has dealt with more powerful foes, but Machamp is no pushover either, and it has ways to increase its durability. I'd be hard-pressed to give a clear winner in this category. Their arsenals are what truly make or break this fight. Goro can create fireballs, he has Dragon Fang gauntlets, he's a master of 2 different martial arts. Goro is also quite old, he's well over 2,000 years old, so he definitely has experience on his side, and he's won 9 separate Mortal Kombat tournaments. That being said, Goro does have his fair share of losses. He's lost to Liu Kang, to Sub-Zero, heck, even Johnny beat him once. Goro is also arrogant to a fault and completely full of himself. Machamp, on the other hand, is stated by the Pokedex to have a mastery of all martial arts. The Pokedex and how Wiz and Boomstick choose to interpret it will heavily dictate how the fight goes. Machamp, according to the Pokedex, can lift mountains with ease and throw 1,000 punches in 2 seconds. Now, that being said, Death Battle will not just take something the Pokedex says at point blank, realistically speaking. They're gonna want something to back that up. And luckily for Machamp, Pokken does back him up on the 1,000 punch thing. But the mountain feat is not backed up at all by main canon. Now that being said, the Pokedex is still an official encyclopedia on the creature. Death Battle generally likes avoiding Word of God scenarios, but they might not have a choice this time. Machamp can have up to 3 different abilities: Steadfast, No Guard, and Guts. Out of the 3 abilities, Guts, from my estimation, should be the most useful. Goro's fire could potentially burn Machamp, activating Guts and boosting his power. Steadfast could help with the speed boost, but I feel the power boost is more valuable. Meanwhile, No Guard is a double-edged sword. On one hand, Machamp cannot miss any attacks he throws. On the other hand, Goro cannot miss any attacks he throws. That ability is ultimately just an equal playing field for both fighters. Plus, I don't know how No Guard would even work outside the context of Pokemon battles, so I doubt Death Battle will use it. Machamp's move pool is an interesting factor in this fight. Leer can lower defense, Scary Face can lower speed, Low Kick does damage based on weight, and Goro does weigh significantly more compared to Machamp. Revenge will deal double damage if Goro hits Machamp, Knockoff can knock an item out of an opponent's hand, Dynamic Punch will confuse Goro if it hits, though it does have 50% accuracy, so, coin flip every time. Cross Chop, Strength, Low Sweep, Seismic Toss, and Double Edge are all powerful moves. Bulk Up increases Machamp's attack and physical defense. And last but not least is Dual Chop. For those uninformed, Dual Chop is a Dragon-type move that deals super effective damage to Draconic enemies.
I don't like where this is going.
Goro has dragon-like features, meaning Dual Chop is going to hurt. With all that on the table, there's still one more thing: Machamp's Gigantamax form. This transformation is another big question for the episode. Pokemon technically either need to be near a max raid den or have a trainer to activate the form. So should Machamp be given this form realistically? Does that break the no outside help rule? I'm honestly not sure. Regardless, I don't think its inclusion changes the results. For this episode, I've decided to root for Machamp. Now, before you say it, yes, I am very biased. I love Pokemon, and Machamp is a blast to play in Pokken. However, I can put my bias aside and look at the facts. Machamp, based on the numbers, should be stronger, punch faster, take a hit just as well, and his arsenal is much larger. Bulk Up can buff his stats, Dual Chop will deal extra damage to Goro, Guts can drastically boost his power if burned, and if his Gigantamax form is allowed, then it's a wrap. It does have a time limit, but I think he could put Goro down without it, so it doesn't really matter. In the end, based off everything I was able to find, Machamp just had the better power set in mind for the fight. But what do you guys think? Are you going to root for Machamp, or are you going with Goro? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Tinton. Peace, and look forward to a special video on April 6th. See ya!